Oh boy. The Sixers take their first L of the season. We really thought they were going to go 82-0, man. Tyrese Maxey missed a game-winning floater that I feel like he makes 9 times out of 10. Joel Embiid had 20 points in 25 minutes. Quentin Grimes has butterfingers. Not enough VJ Edgecombe, in my opinion. Some Nick Nurse lineups that I loved. Some Nick Nurse lineups that I hated. Some runs. A lot of things we got to talk about. Let's get into it.
Sixers, why won't you just lose and put me out of my misery? Why do you gotta keep doing this to me, bro? Nobody else should touch the ball right here. He shoots it from the logo. Oh, we're going to overtime! Tyrese Maxey is a god amongst men!
Run It Back Nation, what is good? Welcome back to Run It Back Philly Sixers postgame live next day, because last night was Halloween and I was busy. If you want to know exactly when we're doing these all the time, the best way is to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Before I say everything I want to say, let's keep the lights on. These shows are brought to you by Bright Medical Technology of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Sixers took their first L of the season last night and couldn't get to the promised land. If you are taking L's in the bedroom and can't get her to the promised land, you need to call Bright Medical of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Bright Medical offers generic Viagra, Sildenafil, and Cialis Tadalafil, 30 tablets for $40 delivered to your door. This is the lowest cost in the area. All you need to do is call 215-725-MEDS. That's 215-725-6337. When you call, mention Run It Back Philly, and you'll get 10% off your first month's supply. And when you get back on your game, you can tell her to thank me. That was kind of weird. Bright Medical Technology is Philadelphia's largest medical supply company with products and solutions for patients from all ages, infants to seniors. They are a family-owned business right in the heart of Philadelphia, PA, and are fans of this show. They are sickos. Bright Medical takes all calls in-house, no automated call system, and speaks 9 languages. The Sixers might get back to performing this season, and you can get back to performing as well. Thank you to Bright Medical for sponsoring the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell if you don't want to miss these post-game shows whenever they go live. Let's talk about it, man. The first thing I want to say is this, bro. I really, really enjoyed the Amazon Prime broadcast. The Amazon Prime broadcast was great. First of all, I don't know how the picture is so much better than it is on NBC Sports Philly, but like crystal clear. Camera angle's great. The hype around this NBA Cup, they're really doing a great job on NBC and on Amazon Prime of making these games feel like they matter. I just wanted to say that. Plus, Taylor Rooks at halftime, bro. Sign me up. Sixers fans, we got to be happy about this. I know it's an L, and I know Sixers fans and Philly fans in general act like the sky is falling every time a team loses a game. But the 76ers lost by 1 point. They were down by as many as 24. Once again, they clawed their way back. They refused to go down easy. They went down swinging. And we got to be happy about this because for I feel like years now, you would see the 76ers collapse in the third quarter or whenever it was, and they would just die, right? And the lack of like heart that it felt like, the lack of just resiliency that it felt like. And Nick Nurse said that this offseason, that he wants to make sure the fans leave the building at least knowing the 76ers gave 100%. I don't know what kind of meetings they had in the offseason. I don't know what went down. But this team, one thing you can definitely say is they are giving 100% every game and refusing to quit. And they are just trying. They're just diving for loose balls. They're just coming up with turnovers. Even Joel Embiid, even though sadly he does look like a shell of himself and down in the fourth quarter, damn, I mean, his body was like, bro, we're not moving anymore, okay? But he's trying so hard. And I'm going to get into Joel a little bit later because I do feel really bad for him because he is trying really hard. And he looked a lot better in this game. Defensively, still wasn't great, but he looked a lot better defensively. And I'm going to talk about Joel Embiid a lot more. But I just wanted to say we got to be happy about a loss. This is a moral victory, if you ask me, to climb all the way back and lose by 1. Yeah, Tyrese Maxey missed the floater. The last play was very questionable why it even happened that way. But I think you got to be happy with a loss like this, really, this early in the season. They weren't going to go 82-0. They're 4-1. Their only losses to the Boston Celtics by a point down to the wire, you know. The Sixers make another comeback. And how did they make the comeback? I noticed that, well, first of all, in the first quarter, they got destroyed as soon as Joel Embiid went to the floor, or went to the bench, I'm sorry. And it kind of gave me that feeling that I've had over the past couple of years for the Sixers, right? Every time Joel Embiid leaves the floor, they get destroyed. They, you know, back and forth in the first quarter, the Joel Embiid minutes, and then when Bona came in, or Drummond, the Celtics made a run, and they just started flying up and down the floor and hitting threes, and there was too many turnovers, and Sixers offense went a little bit stale, and the Celtics went on something like a 14-2 run in that sequence where Joel Embiid was on the bench. And then he came back in the game, and the Celtics continued to make a run. So I'm not saying it's totally because Joel Embiid went to the bench or anything like that, but it definitely felt like the Sixers of old, where the energy kind of dies, or the offensive strategy kind of dies right when Joel Embiid went to the bench. The run the 76ers made at the end of the second quarter, after being down 24 points, was actually sparked by Kelly Oubre and VJ Edgecombe. And this is why I was saying I didn't see enough VJ Edgecombe in this game, and I'm going to talk about him too. But the run that they made there at the end of the second quarter, it was a 15-2 run. And really, man, shout out to Kelly Oubre. The guy is just out of his mind right now. His effort level, you never have to question his effort level, but his shot making right now, his shot creating, driving to the rim, getting tough buckets and one finishes, all that. It might be the red hair. It might be the red hair for Kelly Oubre. But Kelly Oubre has just been this team's spark of energy, and you saw it in both runs in this game again from Kelly Oubre. The run in the second, where they went on a 15-2 run, was on the back of some Kelly Oubre energy, and the run that they made in the fourth quarter to come back and almost win the game had a lot to do with Kelly Oubre's energy. VJ Edgecombe in the second quarter on that 15-2 run alongside Kelly Oubre. VJ ripped off 6 straight, right? He hit the step back 3 top of the key in Derek White's grill, and then he comes down on a fast break and gets an and one finish. So, VJ had some moments in this game. I wish we would have had more moments. But I think Kelly and VJ were the spark in that second quarter that started to bring the 76ers back from that 24-point deficit. The fourth quarter run was actually sparked by Quentin Grimes, who ripped off, I think, 5 straight himself. And I thought Quentin Grimes was pretty bad in this game for the most part, especially turnover-wise. He had one of those games where, he just couldn't dribble the basketball. He was just losing the ball on basic like ISO crossovers and things like that. And we've all had those games playing hoops, right? Where you just have that one game where you're like, damn, bro, everything I try to do doesn't work. I'm dribbling the ball off my foot. I'm airballing shots, all that type of stuff. So I felt like Quentin Grimes was having a tough night in that respect. But he did spark that fourth quarter run that brought the 76ers all the way back with the made 3. And what else was it by Grimes over there? An and one finish on the right side of the rim. I don't remember. But the final possession, after Maxey misses the would have been a game-winning floater, right? Jaylen Brown turns it over at half court, which is, again, shout out to the Sixers and their effort, their trap, full court defense, all this stuff. It's been incredible to watch compared to what we've seen from this team the past couple of years as far as like late fourth quarter effort or even second half effort. So they force a Jaylen Brown turnover at half court, right? He fouls Tyrese Maxey. He tries to yell at the refs for some reason, realizes that's not going to work, so he just shuts up. Then what? 3 seconds to go. We inbound the rock to Quentin Grimes. I don't like that decision in the first place. I think what you did the possession before that, where you ran the Tyrese Maxey screen off of Embiid, downhill floater, would have won the game. You should have just ran the same play. Because Tyrese Maxey makes that shot more times than he misses it, right? But I think what Nick Nurse was trying to do is kind of catch Boston off guard a little bit, inbound the ball to Grimes, and then get it to Maxey. And Maxey tried to come off and get the ball on the left side of that floor. Boston just face guarded him. But actually, if you watch it in slow motion, Quentin Grimes tried to get it to him and dropped the ball. So Grimes, who's having butterfingers all game, ended up being the guy that has to make the play in the final possession, and he loses the ball again and then dribbles the clock out. I mean, you only had 3 seconds. I don't know what you're doing with the ball in your hands, and then he gets it to Joel Embiid, and I don't even think he got the shot off before the buzzer went off. I would rather the Sixers have just inbounded the ball to Tyrese Maxey and let him go again. Speaking of that, I want to say this is Tyrese Maxey's basketball team, and you just witnessed it again. How many years in the fourth quarter did the 76ers force the ball to Joel Embiid? Pretty much every year of his career, right? He was the go-to guy his entire career, and even early in Tyrese Maxey's career, Joel was the go-to guy. And the plan was always get the ball to Joel and let him try to win the game. Get Joel in a one-on-one situation, let him try to win the game. And that's because Joel Embiid was absolutely unstoppable offensively and defensively, but he was always the go-to guy because he was unstoppable one-on-one. And then teams would have to double and he could pass out of it and things like that. But what I'm saying is you're seeing the last 2 possessions of this game was Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey, the layup to get us within 1, and then the Tyrese Maxey floater that would have won it. It was the Tyrese Maxey show. And I like that they're doing that because where Joel Embiid is right now, that's how it has to be. If they were trying to force the ball to Joel in crunch time right now, it probably wouldn't work, and it would look a lot worse on Nick Nurse and everybody. I just love that they're accepting the fact that Tyrese Maxey is one of the best scorers in the NBA, and he's the go-to guy right now. If Joel Embiid gets up to speed and starts looking closer to 100%, he might be a go-to guy, but right now he doesn't. You know what I'm saying? There was some possessions that he had that showed like shades of his old self, but it's still the Joel Embiid thing is still coming along slowly, I will say. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the end of that game. When the Celtics made another run in the third quarter, right? And there was a lineup in there that was butt cheeks, that was booty, that was total ass. Okay? There's a third quarter lineup where Maxey and Embiid were both off of the floor. And in that lineup was Quentin Grimes, VJ Edgecombe, Kelly Oubre, Justin Edwards, and Andre Drummond. Now, that lineup wouldn't be totally horrendous if you were running a feature for Quentin Grimes or VJ Edgecombe. The problem with these type of lineups, I feel like, is that Nick Nurse just assumes they're going to go create something, because I think he gets so used to Tyrese Maxey being on the floor. Or in the most Joel Embiid years, Joel Embiid's on the floor. The obvious strategy is get him the ball, make teams double team, and then pass out of the double team. When you have a lineup out there that doesn't have Maxey or Embiid, you need a lot more strategy going on. I would have liked to see some plays run specifically for VJ Edgecombe or Quentin Grimes. The ball was in Andre Drummond's hands for like 8 straight minutes at the end of the third quarter. I like Andre Drummond for what he brings to the game, but you should never have the ball in Andre Drummond's hands that much in a lineup. And there's a play in that third quarter where Andre Drummond gets the ball in the block, faces up, tries a ISO crossover dribble move, drives baseline. I don't know how he didn't turn it over there, and then he kicked it into the corner for a contested Kelly Oubre 3. I'm like, this is the offense we're running with this lineup as VJ Edgecombe is just standing around? And I'm going to talk more about VJ. I just think that him being a rookie, he's not always going to be assertive with taking the ball and doing things, right? Because you want to fit in. He doesn't want these veteran guys to think he's a ball hog and things like that. This is just what I'm assuming when I'm watching him on the floor, in these possessions, these runs where he's just standing there and Andre Drummond's dribbling the basketball, That's Nick Nurse's job. He needs to get this kid, he needs to say, hey, man, I know you're only 20 years old. I know you're new to this. But in a lineup like this is your lineup. You need to do things with the basketball and let Kelly Oubre be the cleanup role player and let Andre Drummond grab the rebound. We shouldn't be in sets where Andre Drummond is getting the ball in the block and try. But that's on Andre Drummond also. Know who you are and know what's going on. But either way, there was a third quarter stretch there where the lineup didn't have Tyrese Maxey or Joel Embiid in it, and they struggled to do much of anything because they didn't have a plan. And I just think that Nick Nurse needs to be a little bit more assertive with VJ Edgecombe because he's that good. He really is that good. And he needs to be assertive especially in that lineup. But speaking of that third quarter lineup, where Maxey and Embiid are on the bench, you guys that have been saying, well, what happens when Jared McCain comes back? How does Jared McCain fit into this? What do we do with Jared McCain? We need to trade Jared McCain because these other guys were great in the first game of the season. You see how overreactionary that is? You saw in this game why you need Jared McCain. And if your one weakness is a third quarter lineup where Embiid and Maxey are on the bench and you struggle to generate offense, that's Jared McCain time. Jared McCain is a damn bucket. And if you have Jared McCain in that lineup instead of Quentin Grimes or even Jared McCain instead of VJ Edgecombe, you're going to run the entire set through Jared McCain and everything's going to look a lot better. So I think the Sixers, when they get Jared McCain back, there's almost no holes in this team the way that they're running it right now. I thought they obviously struggled in that lineup with Maxey and Embiid on the bench. They struggled to generate offense. If you have Jared McCain in that situation, you're almost foolproof. You almost have, you do have firepower on the floor all game long. And this Sixers team, I just compared them to the Indiana Pacers from the past couple years. They're just deep. They just have guys that can score on the floor at all times. And getting Jared McCain back is going to be massive. Now, I want to talk about what Joel Embiid looked like, and there's some more things I want to talk about, and I want to get to your takes. I see Shane in the Discord. If anybody else wants to call me on the Discord, the link is pinned at the top of the chat, or I'll just take your takes in the chat. This is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. I just rewatched the 76ers game in condensed version on NBA League Pass. It's great. They take out all the timeouts. They take out the halftime. They take out all the commercials. And you get the entire game in 40 minutes. So if you ever want to rewatch a game as efficiently as possible and see every possession so you don't actually miss anything or the flow of the game or anything, you got to have NBA League Pass. And right now, DraftKings is running a promo. If you bet $5, you will get $300 in bonus bets, and you will get 3 free months of NBA League Pass. Use my promo code, run it back, deposit $5, bet $5. If your bet wins, $300 in bonus bets and 3 free months of NBA League Pass. Terms apply. Bonus bets don't count as cash. They come in tokens. They expire. And this offer is only good for new users in legal licensed states, including Pennsylvania. If gambling is a problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you to DraftKings for sponsoring the show. Yo, we got a super chat. My man, Philly Talk Podcast. Philly Mike is in the building. The leading Philadelphia Eagles content creator, Philly Mike. Shout out to the Philly Talk Podcast and my guy, Philly Mike. Sixers still undefeated while Eastwood doing the live play-by-play. Yeah, I didn't do the play-by-play last night because I was taking my kid trick-or-treating and things like that. And I got back into the house right at the end of the second quarter, right before halftime started. And I was thinking about doing a post-game live last night after the game, but I didn't get to see the first quarter. I didn't get to see, and I just can't, like, now that I live stream games, I'm so locked in and watching every single play, it makes my post game breakdown so good because I watched everything that happened. When I'm like distracted and just getting in the house in the middle of the second quarter and things like that, I just can't really. So that's why I waited till today to do it. But yeah, Sixers are 4-0 with me doing the live play-by-play, and we'll be back doing the live play-by-play for the next game. Shout out to Philly Mike, the Philly Talk podcast. I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys, man. The Sixers got smoked in the first quarter when Embiid went to the bench. And it's an interesting dynamic, man, because they do play slower with Embiid on the floor, right? Obviously. But they also control the game a little better. At least in this game, it seemed like they were in control of the game a little more when Joel Embiid was on the floor. And he's still, dude, I'm going to say, what's your take in the chat? What percent of Joel Embiid is he right now? What percent of MVP level Joel Embiid is he right now? Give me a percentage for why are we blaming Embiid for the loss and Eastwood sold for Halloween? I'm not blaming Embiid for the loss. Maybe people in the chat are blaming Embiid for the loss. I think they actually seemed like they controlled the game a little better when Joel Embiid was in the game, and that might just be a strategy thing. That might just be an energy switch. I'm not sure what it is. I do think it's just the fact that you're trying to figure this thing out, And when the 76ers were winning the first couple of games, right, and Joel wasn't playing the fourth quarter, and even the back-to-back where Joel didn't play at all, and they looked like they were flying up and down the floor, and VJ had a 34-point debut and all those types of things, we got a little ahead of ourselves, right? You always knew Joel was going to eventually come back, and people that, I think you guys are being naive if you thought, somebody in the chat right when this thing started said playing Embiid right now just feels political. Bro, it's Joel Embiid. He's on a $50 million a year contract until 2029. It goes up to 60, goes up to 69 million. And I'm agreeing with a lot of takes that to win deep into the playoffs, you're going to need Joel Embiid as close to 100% as you can get him. That's what's happening right now. He's clearly not 100% right now. I don't know if he's going to get to 100%, but I think at least in the Sixers' thought process, they're going to do this throughout the season to try to ramp him up to as close to 100% as possible. So if you feel like Joel Embiid playing the amount of minutes he played in this game affected the energy and slowed the game down, and that's why we won, or that's why we lost, if you feel like that, I'm just letting you know, get used to it. And I think you're a little bit naive for thinking that wasn't going to happen. Did you really think they were just going to bench Joel Embiid the whole season and VJ Edgecombe was going to average 35 points a game? You just got a little ahead of yourself after the first couple of games of the season. They were always going to bring Joel in. They were always going to, and that's why I said, what I got a lot of heat for when I said they were winning with a Dembona in the fourth quarter blocking shots. And I said you're going to need Embiid to get up to speed defensively if you want to win, because they're going to play him in the fourth quarter. They weren't going to bench Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter the whole season. That's insane to think that. You knew it was going to happen. So that's why you need Joel Embiid to get up to speed and be able to play NBA level defense so you can survive in the fourth quarter. And I think he made a little bit of progress defensively in this game. I feel so bad for Joel Embiid, especially in the fourth quarter. He was gassed. You could see it. I don't know if he should have been out there. I understand some people's takes on he shouldn't have been out there in the fourth quarter. I understand it because when you see how he was moving in the fourth, it was kind of hard to watch. Now, offensively, again, he made some plays. The and one jumper over Keita on the block, that was almost vintage Joel Embiid. It just looks like a shell of what he used to be, and it makes me sad. The crazy part is a shell of what he used to be is still so good that he can give you 20 in 25 minutes, right? But I just wanted to say that I feel bad for him because you can see the effort. Even defensively, the chase down block on Derek White, he had a block on what the hell's the dude's name? I forget the dude's name, but he drove baseline in the fourth quarter. I think he tried to dunk on Joel, and Joel blocked the shot. So you can see him giving 100% effort. It's just a little bit sad to me. It makes me feel bad for him because his body is like, bro, what are you doing? We're done, buddy. We are 31 years old, bro. We have been through 4 knee surgeries. We are 7'2", 280 pounds. We're not doing this anymore. That's what his knee and his body is saying to him. And I feel bad because he loves the game so much. This game changed his entire life. This game changed his entire family. This game gave him everything. And he's out there, and you can just see he's trying so hard, and his body is refusing to move. And that's why I'm so negative about it, because it's hard for me to imagine that changing. I don't know what anyone's going to do to get him to look like he's moving better than he's moving right now. Maybe just playing throughout the season, he gets up to it, but you're going to need him to be, 80% of Joel Embiid. And right now I feel like he's a 45, and it just is a little bit, it's a little bit hard to watch when he's really trying and his body's just not moving. What else did I want to say? I think that's what I wanted to say about Joel Embiid, man. It would have been nice if he would have, hit that potential buzzer beater at the end. That was a weird play again. I don't know what Grimes was doing with the ball in his hands, but I want to commend Joel Embiid's effort. And, there's people that just hear a 1-minute segment of me and call me an Embiid hater because they don't actually listen to the show. They don't actually know what I'm saying and what the context actually is. I really, really, really hope Joel Embiid gets up to speed somehow, some way, but I'm not feeling great about it. I'm just not. I can't sugarcoat that, man. VJ Edgecombe in this game, man. I want to talk about VJ before I get to your takes, and then I'm going to hear what you have to say. We cut into a 24-point lead when VJ Edgecombe was much more involved in the game, and I don't think Nick Nurse is doing a great job of keeping VJ Edgecombe involved in the game, especially when Joel Embiid is out there. So far, it's looked like any lineup that VJ and Embiid share the floor together, you can tell VJ's playing like a rookie, right? He's like, I got to give the ball to Joel. I got to give the ball to Tyrese. And there's a couple of instances where he should be attacking, where he catches the ball on like a kick out and the defender's retreating. Attack, bro, attack. And he just hesitates and gives the ball back to Joel or whatever. So VJ's 20 years old. It's going to take him a while to build that level of chemistry and confidence, especially with Embiid on the floor. But I don't think Nurse is forcing it enough. I don't think Nurse is featuring him enough. I don't think Nick Nurse is doing a good enough job of building that confidence. Run a play for VJ, bro. You know what I mean? With Embiid and those guys on the floor. Now, there was he still ripped off a quick 6 points. Did I write that down about the second quarter? He ripped off the 6 points in the second quarter when they were down 24. Him and Embiid in the fourth quarter did have showed a sign of potential chemistry. That play where Joel had the ball in the block, kick out to VJ, VJ back to Joel. Joel gets doubled, kicks it back to VJ. VJ hits the 3. So that was very nice to see Joel being the willing passer to kick it back out to VJ. Joel's always been an unselfish player. The real haters of the Knicks fans and Celtics fans, those people that hate Joel Embiid, they don't know how humble and unselfish he actually is because they don't know him like we know him. And Joel has always been a willing passer, and that was a nice play underneath. Kicks it to VJ. The rookie hits the 3 deep in the fourth quarter. It's a clutch shot. So there's there's green flags there. You know, there's signs that VJ is going to get confident and assertive and will build chemistry when Joel Embiid's on the floor. But I think he's definitely struggled with that so far. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say, man. That's all I wanted to say. Shout out to the Sixers. I'm not mad about this loss. They lost the game by 1 single point. You can't question their effort level. You got to be happy with this, man. You got to be happy that their only loss of this season is a 1-point loss to the Boston Celtics, and really they were an inch away from winning the game if Tyrese Maxey hits the floater that he normally hits, man. Yeah. What else, man? Who's in the Discord? Let's talk to some people in the Discord. Let's talk to some people in the chat. We got Liquid Chris in the Discord. Yo, Chris.
Yo, what up, dude? It's Bo from South Florida. How you been, man?
What's up, Bo? What's up, man? South Florida checking in. What's up, man?
Dude, I just wanted to get one point out there. So we need to stop talking about trading McCain because we're dangerously close to a Kings situation. If you remember, they had Davion Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, and Halliburton, and they had to take a gamble on giving one away to get Sabonis.
Yep.
They guessed wrong, got rid of the best player, and now all three are out of the city.
Yep.
We can't risk messing it. You don't know. It's a mystery box. The sample size isn't big enough. McCain could be a role player. McCain could be a Curry. We are not paying Quentin Grimes $25 million a year. It's not happening. He's going to replace Grimes after this season, and we'll run the three of them. They'll all get over 20 minutes a night, over 15 points per game. They can all play together in transition. McCain matches with Maxey because McCain's hot spots are on the wings, whereas Maxey's is top of the key and in the corner. So, like, they really play well together. That kind of combination plays great off the handoff that Embiid and Maxey do at the top of the key. I think McCain can run with either of them. They're all transition scorers. They're all fast. They're all high-energy players. They're all, really in-your-face defenders. The idea that the three of them can't coexist and we just move on from Grimes after this season, it's crazy that people aren't seeing that and just overreacting,
Oh yeah, definitely. I would never, dude. I've been saying for a long time. I think somebody on a collaboration I did over the summer said about trading Embiid, and I was like, bro, stop it, cut it out. I've never seen a rookie do what Jared McCain did, bro. He looked like the next coming of Steph Curry. He has everything. He has the handle. He has the shot creation. He has the patience. He's a little bit like Luka Doncic-esque, where he patiently feels out the defense and gets to his spot. He's everything, man. And the catch and shoot. I'm not trading Jared McCain for absolutely anything. And the Kings are maybe the worst run franchise in sports. And so, I think we're lucky that we have Daryl Morey at the helm versus whoever the hell the Kings have. I think, honestly, the Kings owner has a lot to do with those decisions, too. But I don't, as much as I talk about Daryl Morey with the Paul George signing and stuff, Daryl Morey's not trading Jared McCain. He's a good evaluator of young talent, and that just ain't happening. And the Kings, dude, yeah, they were, the Halliburton trade was just stupid. He was obviously the better point guard out of him and De'Aaron Fox. He went to Indiana and immediately averaged 20 and 10 the next season as a 21-year-old. It might be one of the worst trades ever, man. And then the Sabonis thing, and then you get the other guy that can't shoot threes. Now you got a bunch of dudes that can't shoot the ball on the floor together. Then they signed Russell Westbrook. What a horrible franchise, and now they're 1-5, and everyone's like, "Oh, what happened to the Kings, dude?" Come on, man. It's a terrible built roster, and it started with some bad decisions with the.
I just wanted to say really quick too with that. One, you brought up a great point earlier where you were like, "Oh, there are dead offensive spots where Embiid, Maxey go off the floor." And that's where McCain fits in.
Absolutely.
I mean, if we could have a four-headed offensive monster of Embiid, Maxey, McCain, and Edgecombe, and then Paul George just has to be a perimeter defender with Kelly. I mean, that really could be one of the most lethal offenses in the league. I also think, as much as we hate on Daryl for loving old guys and signing terrible contracts, the guy has been the best at drafting possibly in Philadelphia history. He got us Maxey, Edgecombe, and McCain. And all of these guys were undervalued by every other team in the league. Daryl Morey did see the value. Like you say, he's great at seeing young talent. Maybe he's messed up some big contracts. Maybe he was like too much of Harden's lover boy. But at the end of the day, dude, we still have a future after phase 1 of the process. Maybe it's, phase 2 now.
Facts.
But without him, we would be turning into what the Sacramento Kings are if we had kept like Colangelo or one of those bums.
You're absolutely right, man. Yo, Chris, thank you so much for the call, man. Thank you so much for contributing to the show. Shout out to Liquid Chris on the Discord. Yeah, it's true, man. Daryl Morey has never tanked. He's never been part of a rebuild. I got to give him credit. He finds a way to get to the next era. When he took over the Houston Rockets with Tracy McGrady and Yao Ming medically retired. He flipped Tracy McGrady. They didn't tank. He got James Harden off the bench of OKC right away. He does always make a move that keeps the franchise alive. And 5 or 10 years from now, you might be looking at Maxey, VJ, and McCain, and it might be the best 3 drafted players in a row since Durant, Harden, and Westbrook, or Curry, Clay, and Draymond. And I got to agree. Now, there's a lot of things that Daryl Morey has done that I think are just flat out dumb, like his refusal to trade Tobias Harris, his refusal to trade Ben Simmons for Tyrese Halliburton and first-round picks, gave up more for past his prime James Harden because he loved him, signing Paul George to a ridiculous contract, signing Joel Embiid to an extension until 2029 when he's clearly injured all the time. And he's on his last leg right now. He's on his literally and figuratively last leg right now in 2025, and he's getting $69 million in 2029, bro. What does this guy think that Father Time doesn't exist? So I give Morey credit for his evaluating young talent and drafting, but I'm not going to let him go on some of the other things anyway. And yeah, like, Jared McCain's going to fit right in. Does that mean they shouldn't pay Quentin Grimes? I don't think so. I don't. I love what Quentin Grimes brings to the team. If he wants to be here long term, I'm all for it. I think if Quentin Grimes wants to be here long term, you do everything you can to trade Paul George, and you pay Quentin Grimes. I honestly think that. I think Quentin Grimes becoming an unrestricted free agent this upcoming offseason is maybe going to be more interested in going to another team where he will have more of an opportunity to be a featured guard. But if Grimes can accept the fact that he's not a superstar and he shouldn't be a featured guard, right? He can be a really, really, really good 3rd or 4th option. You've seen it already. He has 2 game-winning shots, basically, in the first 5 games of the season. And it's because I think he's a role player. I just think he's a very high-level role player. And if Grimes accepts that and wants to be here long-term, I'm doing everything I possibly can to get Paul George out of here so I can pay Quentin Grimes. I'm sorry. I said it. Maybe I can clip that and put it on Instagram, and I'll finally have people agree with me instead of attacking me for being a hater. I know there's a lot of Joel Embiid defenders. You're not allowed to say anything critical of Joel Embiid. If there's Paul George defenders, I'm out. I'm deleting the internet forever. There should be no Paul George defenders. Yo, top shot of Shane, man. Thank you for hanging out on the Discord, Shane. Shane, what's up? Yo, Shane. Yo, Shane, what's up, man?
How's it going, DJ?
It's going, man. Were you trick-or-treating last night, Shane?
No. I don't talk about Halloween.
That was a joke about how young you are, but I actually think you're like 16 or 17 now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be 18 in a couple months.
Shane's going to be 18, bro. You were calling the show when you were like 14, I think, man. That's crazy. Anyway, what's up, Shane? How you doing, man? What you think?
I actually watched the whole game last night, and I will say I was pissed in that first quarter because it felt like the old Sixers were like, okay, we're just going to let them come in, kick our ass, and we're going to do nothing about it.
Yeah.
It felt like they kind of like gave up in that first quarter. But I wanted to give it the whole game because I'm like, you know what, it's still early in the game. They still got plenty of time. And so, yeah, I'm impressed. I like they remind me of that the year that, ironically, Kawhi hit that buzzer beater on the Sixers. That Raptors team, they're scrappy, they're fighty, they're going to be in your face on defense, you know, and I felt like the effort was 100% last night. And I'm okay with the loss because it looked like they were trying to give the ball to Maxey, and Quentin Grimes was being a dum-dum and gave the ball to Embiid.
He dropped the ball. Watch the play again. He tried to get it to Maxey, and he dropped the ball, and then he picked it up and threw it over to Embiid. It was just a bad play.
I remember the play where Kelly Oubre fumbled the ball. I literally was criticizing him, and then they came back from replay and said, hey, Kelly Oubre got his arm grabbed by Jaylen Brown. That's a foul. And I was like, oh, well, good thing we have replay assistants.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, this team fights, man. It's been a lot of fun to watch, dude. It's been so much fun to watch. I don't remember it being this fun. I feel like I'm watching the playoffs every night. You know what I mean? Because every single game, even if they're down, they're in it. And they're coming back. And I'm standing up, I'm yelling, I'm this, I'm that. Every game so far this season, I've been invested like it's a playoff atmosphere, and it's all about how hard they're playing, and they're refusing to give up. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is going to sound facetious, but I remember the Flyers started out almost a similar way last year, where they're just playing hard. And I think that the city is rewarding the Sixers by coming to the games every night at home and away, and saying, hey, at least they're 4-1. Yeah, not everybody can be the Chicago Bulls with Josh Giddey right now, 5-0, and that's even a shocker that they're 5-0 because Vucevic has been playing his mind out.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yo, Shane. Shane, thank you so much for calling the show, man. Good to hear from you.
You too. See ya.
Shout out to Shane on the Discord. Dubs in the chat. I got brand new members only emotes that I just put up yesterday. So I see I see Za, I see some other members in here. Drop my new custom emotes. Oh, there's A. He dropped them. He dropped the custom emotes in the chat. Yeah, drop my custom emotes in the chat, man. Dubs in the chat. DJ Sports Zone is on the Discord. DJ Sports Zone. What's up, man?
Hold on.
Yo,
what's going on, dude?
what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. The only thing spookier in Halloween was Andre Drummond making a 3.
Yeah, and then the jump scare was Andre Drummond airballing a floater.
Yeah, no, I mean, I thought it was a good game overall. I know people are annoyed about the loss, but this team's very good. I mean, they play hard till the very end. Now, yes, it would be nice if they didn't have to come back from a huge deficit from the first half, but they went on that 17-4 run, which was very exciting. The turnovers weren't great, but I think if they keep playing hard every single game, they're going to be hard to stop when you have 4 guards running around with Embiid setting screens. And I know you said it's hard to defend Paul George, but if you have him used as that 3-and-D player that most teams would love to have, obviously not at that contract amount, yeah. I think they're going to be an unstoppable team.
Yeah, man, like that's kind of why I made the if healthy hoodies, man. If healthy, they are stacked. And there's not a lot of holes in the roster when you really look at it, if healthy. And everybody practiced now, and I didn't do the research, but I feel like it's the first time everybody practiced on the Sixers for 5 years. They might actually be healthy, and if they are going to be hard to beat because they have depth. They have a lot of depth. You're absolutely right, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough to stop them. The Knicks and Cavs are dealing with tons of injuries. I mean, they're losing games constantly, and the Sixers just find ways to bounce back, and that's what's mind-blowing about this team. Maybe it's because we're so spoiled after watching Alex Reese and Marcus Bagley running around last year, but they're just so much fun to watch.
dude, Alex Reese. I forgot about him. Marcus Bagley. That was insane. Some of that I don't know how we survived that season. And honestly, I'll say it again. If I didn't have a platform where people want to hear my thoughts on the game, I would have stopped watching that season. I would have, dude. It was mental hell. Yeah, man. What else you got, bro?
So, what are your thoughts on that last play? Because I think if Embiid got himself available, I think he was shocked when Grimes threw him the ball. Obviously, Oubre shouldn't have gotten it to Grimes to begin with. I think once he saw that Maxey wasn't available, Embiid should have got himself closer to Oubre so that way he could get a better shot than that last second shot attempt that was after the buzzer anyways.
Yeah, I thought Grimes dribbled the ball too far across half court. I thought the idea was for him to bring it across half and get it to Tyrese. There wasn't enough time on the clock. The Celtics did a good job of getting in his face and face guarding Maxey. He tried to get it to Maxey and he lost the handle on it and picked it up. And then there was like 2 seconds left and he hesitated. It was just terrible. It was just bad. It is what it is. Those things happen, you know. I don't think, and people that want to be like, oh, what a terrible play drawn up by Nick Nurse. Quentin Grimes is a ball handler and a passer, and if you want to get Maxey free off ball for a game winner, giving Quentin Grimes the ball in that situation is going to work a lot of times. So I just think it was a bad play, and I don't think anybody should really overanalyze it too much.
No, they're going to be good this season. Now I'm glad we can actually talk about the Sixers in a positive light for once, at least for now. At least for now.
Exactly, that's the thing, man. Like even like the last season was like, bro, I'd rather be a tanking team. At least when you're a team who's tanking and has no future whatsoever, you can talk about the young guys and who you think is going to stand out. And there's like a lot of things. There was nothing to talk about last season because it was over when it started, you know. And so, yeah, this is fun. This is fun.
Yeah, no, we don't have to talk about Kyle Lowry. Now he can actually now it looks like Nick Nurse is actually using him as a mentor this year, and that's great. And maybe that is what's helping VJ out. Maybe that is what's going to help McCain out. And Grimes, I think Daryl Morey is actually learning from his past mistakes. He didn't want to give him a big contract like he did with Joel Embiid, like we were stuck with Tobias Harris. He could prove himself, and hey, if Grimes was to come back next year on a smaller deal, then that would be great. But I think he's trying to focus on getting these younger guys paid like he did with Maxey. He waited a year and got his contract.
Yeah, man. I agree. Great points, man. Thank you so much for calling the show.
Of course. Thanks, dude.
DJ Sports Zone in the Discord. Well, I mean, Grimes is one of these young guys, to be honest with you. I think he's 26. And I don't think it was Daryl Morey choosing not to pay him. The 76ers just didn't have the cap space for what Grimes was looking for. Now they could have went up as high as $14 million a year, and I think they only offered him $9 million. I think they offered him 4 years, $39 million or something like that. So less than $10 million a year they offered him. If Grimes will sign for 14 or 15, I would try to find a way to give him 14 or 15 a year. If the Sixers aren't going to do that, he's going to go somewhere else. It's just the way it is. But I think Quentin Grimes is worth it, and you know, I just do, man. I think he's great. I think he's one of the best role players in the NBA. And again, I'm trying. If I'm Daryl Morey, I'm doing everything I can to get rid of the Paul George contract to pay Quentin Grimes. But that's just me, man. And Grimes' defense is not talked about enough. You know, even that fourth quarter spark. I feel like every time they came back this season from a deficit, it had a lot to do with Quentin Grimes' defense. He traps at half court. He's a defensive menace. You know, he makes life hell for offensive players, especially when it comes down late. And I just love what Quentin Grimes is doing. I'm not going to hold that final play against him. He had a bad game handling the ball. He had 3 turnovers. He was just dribbling the ball off his foot and things like that. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. We're going to go 81-1, guys. It's fine. It's fine. Before I get to Ari Stunna on the Discord, I want to say shout out to Freshie for gifting a membership to Presidential Mike. Presidential Mike is now a member of Sicko Nation. Thanks to Freshie for a gifted membership. Shout out to that. Ari Stunna 21 on the Discord. What's up?
What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Big fan of the show.
Thanks.
Hold on one sec. Let me see. I'm having trouble hearing you here.
You can't hear me?
Yeah. Big fan of the show.
Thanks, man.
I just have one thing to point out about last night, and I'm glad that you got to talk about the last shot last night. I just think in that case, it is what it is. Celtics defense better, but the Maxey shot right before it, like the possession that we had right before it, I have a bone to pick with Embiid because he stopped and hesitated for a second at the 3-point line because he thought that he was going to get a shot, like a 3-point pull up from Maxey. And I just know if Bono was in that game, he's following there's no hesitation. He's following all the way to the cup and he's going for the putback to clean up.
Yep.
And so that's a big issue that I have. Like, I think Embiid needs to take the note to be the cleanup guy. Like, he needs to, it's a big jump from his game, like his MVP game. But he needs to be a guy who can do the dirty stuff like Bono will do. And like even Andre Drummond will do. And that's the only way that I see that he's going to be able to actually fit in the offense. And I don't know if his body can take it, and it's scaring me, man.
Yeah, man, dude. Like, it was hard to watch him in the fourth quarter on the defensive end trying to move, and his body just won't move, you know. And I don't think he's ever going to be that cleanup guy, man. And that's why I said, you know, when he was on the minutes restriction the first couple games and didn't play the fourth quarter at all, I was like, get ready for it, because they're going to play him in the fourth quarter. You have to. It's Joel Embiid. They're going to spend this season trying to get him up to speed for the playoffs. Whether that works or not is a different question, but they're going to try to do that. And so if we're going to, you know, if some people feel like that cost them this game, that's just what's going to happen some games this season. Because if Bono was in there, do the Sixers win? Maybe. Does Bono get an offensive rebound put back there like he did the last game? Maybe. That is what happened last game. Bono slammed it back and put us up one, and this time you got Joel Embiid in there and he doesn't follow up the shot. So you're absolutely right. Yeah. But I think it's just what's going to happen to try to get him up to speed for the playoffs. I'm not saying I totally agree with it. I'm just saying that's what the 76ers are going to do. And so we might be kind of, you know, costing ourselves some regular season games to try to get Joel Embiid up to speed. And it is what it is.
I honestly, that doesn't scare me that much. What does scare me is the fact that, man, Coach Nurse just has to have some balls this season to bench Embiid sometimes. And that's another thing, like in important games, right? Even in the playoffs. And I don't know. I mean, we'll see. You know what? We'll see when that comes around. Yeah. That's something else that I go like, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's got the balls to do that. I don't know if Embiid has.
I do think he does have the balls to do. He did do that.
Question marks.
He did do that kind of, like with 20 seconds left. He took Embiid off the floor and put a Dembona in there for a defensive possession. That's Nick Nurse saying, you know, I need a Dembona in there to crash the glass and defend the rim, and Joel can't do that right now. He did do that with 20 seconds left, and then he put Embiid back in on the final possession. So he was trying to do it in certain situations where if it was going to be a specific defensive possession, he was putting Bona in there. I honestly think they're going to have to figure out how to have a Dembona and Embiid on the floor together in a closing lineup because, yeah, you need the energy and the rebounding and the shot blocking ability, and they're going to want to have Embiid out there to try to get him ramped up. It's just, I don't know, man. It's something tough for Nick Nurse to try to figure out. Yo, man, thank you so much for calling the show, man.
Thank you, man. Keep it up.
Aristunna21 on the Discord. Great callers on the Discord in this show, man. You guys are awesome. Yeah, we're naive if we're thinking that the Sixers weren't going to play Joel Embiid in the fourth quarter. And they're not going to bench Joel Embiid. It is what it is. If it takes him the whole season to get up to speed and be able to play defense and rebound at a high level, they're going to do that. You know, that's like the Lakers when Kobe was past his prime. People are like, they got to bench Kobe Bryant. They're not going to bench Kobe Bryant, man. You know, the Sixers in like 2010 when Iverson came back onto the team and he was absolutely cooked, right? It's Allen Iverson, man. You know, he's gonna play. It's Joel Embiid. He's been too good for too long. The Sixers are not gonna bench him to put Bona in there just because it's just not gonna happen. And if that's political, that is political. But that's what's going to happen. So the Sixers are either going to be a good playoff team because Joel Embiid got up to speed, or they're not. The one thing that's definitely going to happen is Joel Embiid is going to play if he's able to. Now, the thing is, bro, he was moving slow on that knee in the fourth quarter. And I think Joel is hiding the fact that he's in pain. And I don't think he wants to talk about it, and I think he's trying to act like it's not happening. But if you're watching him out there, he looks like he's playing in pain all the time. And it makes me feel bad for him because he's just trying so hard, and his body's not moving. 76ers aren't going to bench Joel Embiid. It's not going to happen. Yo, RJ7 Deuce, a member of the channel for 30 months. Says we got to chill on Embiid hate. All right, let's talk about this, bro. I understand what you're saying, but let's bring it back for a minute, okay? Giving an honest opinion on what you're seeing on the floor is not hate. That's not what that word means. I'm just doing my job watching every game, analyzing the game. I have to tell you what I think about Joel Embiid. If I think Joel Embiid is having trouble moving and looks really slow, and I don't personally feel like there's a great chance of him getting back to the level you need him at to win, I'm going to say that because that's how I got here. That's how I built this into what it is. I have never sugarcoated anything. My only job is to tell you exactly what I think. If you disagree, that's fine. If you don't want to hear it, that's fine too. But it's not Embiid hate. It's just me telling you what I think about what I'm seeing on the floor. He's adjusting to not being a first option and not being able to use his body the same. Some of y'all don't watch games. All right, maybe you're not talking about me. If there's people in the chat that are, if you're not talking about me, if there's people in the chat that are straight up hating on Embiid and, you know, Embiid's trash, Embiid's washed, Embiid sucks, like, RJ, I got to tell you this, and I'm going to give you the advice that I try to give myself every day. 99% of people that type words onto the internet should not get a response. There's just so much toxic, stupid shit out there. You can't read Twitter and a lot of times this YouTube chat and Instagram and TikTok comments and get mad. And I do it. I'm saying this because I say it to myself every day when I catch myself arguing with somebody for 20 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? There's so much dumb shit. You just have to accept that the internet is full of people saying dumb shit, and you gotta move on, bro. Because it's when you say we gotta chill on the Embiid hate, people aren't gonna chill on the Embiid hate because the internet is full of toxicity, no matter which way you spin it. So it just is what it is, man. And you're right. Some of them don't watch games. He's getting used to not being a first option and not being able to use his body the same. Me personally, that's what I've been saying. You know, there's people that call that Embiid hate. What you just said, he can't use his body the same. There's people that call that Joel Embiid hate. I'm like, hey, man, Joel looks like he's struggling to move out there. And they're like, fuck you. You fucking hater. How dare you say that about... They get so mad. I'm like, well, I'm just telling you what I think about what I'm watching. Are you guys watching the same thing I'm watching? And then some people will be like, bro, you're such a hater. Obviously, he's not 100% and isn't what he used to be and can't move anymore. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying. There's people calling me a hater and then saying the same thing I said. And you see, I get caught up in reading this sometimes, and sometimes I keep clicking on the Instagram comments and Twitter replies, and I read the things, and I think I'm logical, so I think it enters my brain, and my brain is like, that can't be what somebody said, and it's so hard to not respond, but I have to, because I can't, can't waste time arguing with people that don't get it. Yeah. Hey, man, thank you guys so much for coming through and hanging out. Sixers loss. 1 point. It's going to be okay. I love this team so far. I love what I'm seeing. Nick Nurse has some things to figure out. We got a whole season to figure it out, guys. Whole season. Thanks for coming through. Shout out to Bright Medical for sponsoring the channel. Shout out to DraftKings for sponsoring the channel.